To admit that I want you is to confess I don't know you well. Because if I knew you better, I guess only time could tell. If we end up together, I'd be quite the bride. The wedding would be small, gardenias on every side. But before that, rewind. How do we meet? To admit that I want you is to confess I might be saving a seat. It's my 5th time at this coffee shop. They know my order and say my name. There's a heart drawn next to it. Each time it's different, like a little game. Depending on how the barista is feeling, the heart is full or half made. The man next to me has a heart tattoo that with time has started to fade. The couple in the corner comes here once a week. They organize and rationalize better jobs to seek. I sit at a table for 2. I stay no more than an hour. I go to the gym afterwards and shampoo twice in the shower. It's a routine I've perfected. I wake up at 8, no matter if I slept early or if I stayed up too late. But today the clock strikes 12. The coffee shop is closed. How full would the heart be? The gym new hours imposed. To admit that I want you is to confess that I want to change a routine. The coffee shop went out of business, no more hearts to be seen. So I go to a park, a different part of town. I get sad watching the couples, pretend that I'm not as I sit down and read, but I'm not really reading. Instead, there's a world of thought in my mind, a mansion of imagination nobody else has been able to find. The book is Friends to Lovers. I'd love to love a friend of mine, to have a sudden emotional confession over a spilled glass of wine, where he says to admit that I want you is to confess I don't know you well, but because I know you better than myself, even the wine for you fell. To admit that I want you is to confess I've been here before, and the irreparable damage it caused me made me not want to ever visit this anymore, but I admit that I want you. And I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop, for you to tell me you don't feel the same, for the chemical reaction to finally stop. And here I am standing, heart shaking from the caffeine, all full of love to give to the prettiest woman I've ever seen. To admit that I want you is to admit that I really do, that I went back to that coffee shop for weeks trying to talk to you, and then it went out of business as the tattoo started to fade. We never found out if the couple quit their job or for some reason stayed. But I didn't care about the routine, I cared about the girl. To admit that I didn't like you is like convincing hair and humidity not to curl. To admit that I want you is to confess I don't know you well. But instead I'm reading in a park, imagining you as a character in the story I will never tell.